This video will be about converting degrees to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So degrees, minutes, and seconds is mainly used in geography to determine the positions of latitude and longitude lines. So degrees, minutes, and seconds, which can also be called DMS, is a base 60 system where it's the first part is degrees, which is just a normal like how it is in decimal degrees. But then for anything between 0 and 1, it goes into base 60, where it's minutes for the first part, where it's 0 to 60 would represent 0 to 1 for a number. So for this first example, where I have to convert at 90.5 degrees to degrees, minutes, and seconds, I would want to keep 90 degrees. But then since it's 90.5, I have to turn that into minutes, so that would be 30 minutes, because that's half of 60. So this next example is a bit more difficult, because it's a more complicated number than just 90.5. So I do the same thing, where I take the whole number, so 127 degrees. And then for the next part, I'd have to take 0.12 and then multiply that by 60 in order to get the number of minutes. So if I were to put that into a calculator and say 0.12 times 60, I would get 7.2. So from that I can take 7 and put that as my minutes, but then I still have 0.2, so I take 0.2 and then multiply that by 60 again in order to get 12, so I put that as seconds. So I'll just do this again with 57.1892. So I take 57 degrees, and then I multiply 0.1892 by 60. To get minutes, and then I take 0.352 and multiply that by 60 to get the seconds. So now we're going to convert a DMS into standard decimal degrees. So let's start with this first example. Just like with converting decimal degrees to DMS, you can just take degrees and move it over. But then now that we have 12 minutes, we can take 12 in our calculator and then divide it by 60 to get what we add on to 36 degrees. So it will be 36.2 degrees. Same with this next example. So we take 256 degrees, and then we add 36 divided by 60. So we have 0.6. But then in addition to that, we have to also add 46 multiplied by 60 squared, which would be 3600. So So that would be 0.6, or it would be 46 divided by 60, and then divided by 60 again. And then that can be added to 0.6 in order to get what we add to here, which would end up being 256.6127 degrees. Now, with this next example, since it's negative, it would just be the exact same thing, except moving the negative sign over. So it's negative 125 degrees. And then you take 15 and divide that by 60. So that would give 0.25. And then you would take 56.583 and then divide that by 60, and then divide that by 60 again. And now you add that to 0.25. So to get the final degrees for this, we can add this number to what we had for 125 degrees. So that would give us 125 degrees, 0.2657, rounded. And then since it was negative in degrees, minutes, and seconds, it will also be negative as just decimal degrees. So that's why it will give us negative 125.2657 degrees.